again, boys and girls. Now we're going to do science. We're going to continue talking about the changing of the seasons. And I made up a little song that will help you remember it. And I used it from the tune of the water cycle song that I sent you, okay? So, let's look at the picture while I sing it. You ready? The earth travels around the sun and changes seasons. Every 3 months, the winter, spring, summer and fall takes 1 year to have them all. The earth travels around the sun and changes seasons. Every 3 months, the winter, spring, summer and fall takes 1 year to have them all. Just a little something, maybe it'll help you remember. Okay, does anybody remember what it's called when the earth travels around the sun? What is that called, to go around? Right, it's called orbit. So it takes 365 days for the earth to orbit the sun. That's 1 whole year. And yesterday I showed you that the earth has an invisible line through it, and we call it the axis. And when our part of the earth, the northern hemisphere, is leaning furthest away from the sun, that makes our days shorter and colder. So here's my smiley face. That would be us. You can see we are tilted furthest away during the winter. And then gradually, slowly, we go closer. 3 months, it will be spring. So now our temperatures are getting warmer and the days are starting to get longer. And then as we continue to travel another 3 months until summer, you can see now our part of the earth, the northern hemisphere, is leaning closest to the sun, making it summer where our days are longer. We have more daylight, more sunlight, and it's warmer, right? Then we continue the orbit path. Another 3 months, and now it is fall, and again the temperatures get cooler and the days get shorter. And again, that's another type of cycle because it happens over and over and over again. Okay, so I have another book here. I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but it will talk more about the orbiting. And do you remember what it's called when the earth, while it's orbiting, we're also spinning, we're rotating, and that makes day and night. So the earth is doing 2 things at one time. It's orbiting and rotating to make day and night. And it's amazing that we don't get dizzy, right? Okay, let's listen. Okay, why do we have seasons? Much of the reason has to do with the movement of the earth around the sun. The earth travels around the sun in a circle called an orbit. This orbit takes 365 days. The earth takes 1 year to make 1 full orbit around the sun. As the earth makes its journey around the sun, it does something else. It spins. The earth is very much like a giant top spinning that never stops. Each full spin of the earth takes 24 hours. That's this. When we rotate to make day and night. The rest of the time, that same part of the earth faces away from the sun. Those hours of darkness are called night, and the hours of light are called day. And different parts of the earth, you know, have different daytimes and night times. The earth leans or tilts as it spins and travels around the sun. We have seasons because the earth spins and leans. The part of the earth leaning toward the sun has summer, and the part leaning away from the sun has winter. Imagine the earth as a large ball, right? It's a sphere. At the top of the ball is the North Pole. It is not a real pole. It is just the name for the spot on the earth that is north of every other place. The North Pole is very cold, very icy. No plants grow there. Polar bears, seals, and birds live near the North Pole. At the widest part of the earth between the poles is the equator. This imaginary line divides the northern and southern hemisphere. Some places near the equator get very wet because it rains every day. These places are called jungles or rainforests. Other places near the equator are very dry because it seldom rains there. And many of these places are called deserts. At the bottom of the earth is the South Pole. It is exactly on the other end of the north. Here too, it's always cold. Penguins and few birds live there. Most people, plants, and animals do not live near the poles on the equator. Instead, they live in other parts of the world where it is not too cold and not too hot. The way the earth leans as it spins and travels around the sun affects the seasons in the northern and southern halves of the earth. When the North Pole points toward the sun, right? Oops, that's winter. Sorry, this one. In the northern hemisphere, it's winter. In the southern hemisphere, it's summer for us, winter for them. Opposite. Each year around June 21st, the North Pole leans farthest from the sun. Toward the sun, sorry. This is the longest day of the year in the northern part of the world, and it is the first day of summer. So that's here. Okay. Around September 22nd, there are exactly 12 hours of the day and 12 hours of the night. That is the first day of autumn. Now the days grow shorter and part of the northern world, autumn is the season. Every year, around December 21st, the North Pole leans farthest from the sun. Oh, that's where we are here. This is the shortest day of the year. That's when winter begins. The first day of spring arrives around March 21st. There are 12 hours of a day and 12 hours of the night, just as in September. The days grow longer and longer in spring, and the temperature gets warmer, the wildlife starts to come around, things start to grow, and as spring draws near, nature wakes up. All through the year, nature's creatures pay attention to daylight calendar. They don't have their own calendar, they use nature as a calendar. As the days grow shorter in August, summer is ending. The trees are getting ready to drop their leaves. Squirrels begin to store their nuts in the ground. Summer ends and the school year starts. Autumn brings fall, football, crisp apples, leaves, rakes, and pumpkins to carve. So now we're in fall. Winter will follow, and the snow to shovel. And so, the seasons come and go. Nature has made sure each season brings us an exciting, different world. Okay, so the earth travels around the sun and changes seasons every 3 months. Winter, spring, summer, and fall all takes 1 year to have them all. Okay, I hope that helps you understand how the seasons change. Okay, we've learned so much about weather, and we know that not always do we have the type of weather that you expect during our seasons, right? So sometimes our winters can be mild with temperatures that aren't really cold, and there may not be a lot of snow. Sometimes even in the spring, the temperatures can feel like winter temperatures. Okay, but now what you've learned about weather helps you understand the seasons better. So you're going to make your own model like this on a paper plate. I'll send you the sample and the directions and then the pieces that you will need to cut to copy the sample. And in your journal, you will write and illustrate, my favorite season is, and then you'll write the name of the season on the line. A grown-up can spell it and you can copy it. Because I like, so you draw a picture of something that you like about that season or something that you like to do at that season. So your picture will finish the sentence. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you tomorrow.